regarding which is very important regarding this program for the period 21-27. Dimitri, can I share my screen now?
Yes, please, Alexander, you can.
Okay. Can you see this presentation for the participants and also for Dimitri?
Yes, thank you. We can see it.
You can see it. So as you can see, for the first slide of today's presentation, it's about the period 21-27, but this doesn't mean that this Erasmus Plus program or this program for education, training, youth and sport with this budget of 26.2 billion euros is going to end in 2027. More than 30 years, this program is available on the European level, but also in the previous 7 years, and now after in the next 7 years, this program is available also for the partner countries as Sri Lanka. So there are plenty of possibilities in this program we are going to see in today's presentation for higher education institutions that are accredited in Sri Lanka. These are opportunities and range of options for higher education institutions from Sri Lanka. As you can see, as a coordinator for higher education, also I'm head of unit for higher education, adult education and youth. I'm coordinator for Study in Europe project. I'm contact point for the Western Balkan Alumni Association, which is developed and created by the European Commission. I'm contact point also for Academic Cooperation Association, which is from Brussels, and also for Campus France, which is very important organization, institution regarding higher education in Europe and outside of borders of Europe. I have put only 2 quotes at the beginning of today's presentation, and it's very much related with Erasmus Plus program, which means the first one is that only the educated are free. I would say that only educated for the Erasmus Plus program for higher education are free, not only in Europe for this program, but also for the universities in Sri Lanka, concretely for the higher education institutions in Sri Lanka, for reason that there are plenty of possibilities in the field of higher education, where you can apply in the executive agency in Brussels. Further, you are going to see for the programs like sub-programs like Jean Monnet, Erasmus Mundus joint master degrees, capacity building, etc. And also, it always seems impossible until it's done. This is the second.
We have some issues with connectivity, yeah? Yeah, I'm sorry about this. So let's wait for Alexander. I think he should be here in 1 minute.
We can.
Yeah, basically we had some issues with connectivity from the speaker's end, so he's getting back in 30 seconds and we'll continue. Excuse us for this inconvenience. Again, I'm sorry for this inconvenience. Probably this is because we have really international event today from different continents, and probably there are some issues uh, at some stage of the connectivity. So I have just received a message from the speaker that we will be back very soon and we will continue. Thank you so much for waiting, and I'm sorry for keeping you waiting, actually.
Can you hear me, Dimitri?
Yes, yes,
I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but we had some issue with the connection from my personal computer. So I'm going to proceed, okay?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay. So we are to the phase that for the Erasmus Plus program, plenty of possibilities for this program. And the second quote, it was that it always seems impossible until it's done. It's about writing a project for the Erasmus Plus. It's about all the necessary details that you need to know about the Erasmus Plus, but everything can be done. For reason that a lot of higher education institutions from Europe and also all around the world, they're applying in the executive agency, and also they're creating partnerships with higher education institutions from Europe regarding Erasmus Plus program. So if you are very well educated for the Erasmus Plus program, and the next step is that you are going to be prepared for the inclusion in this program and involvement of the program Erasmus Plus in the field of higher education. Also, as a higher education institution, you can be involved in other sub-actions from the Erasmus Plus program. It means that as a university, you can be partner or applicant in this program, Erasmus Plus program, not only in the higher education field, but also you can be partner and applicant, for example, in vocational educational training, in adult education, or even in the field of youth. So be aware that there are a lot of possibilities in this Erasmus Plus program. The next slide, as you can see, it's about the EU program that is for education, training, youth, and sports. Funding for programs, projects, and scholarships from the Erasmus Plus program, fosters also EU in collaboration, but also fostering European Union and international cooperation. It means universities from Europe and also universities from Sri Lanka. Collaboration through Erasmus Plus program, and further you are going to see about the details for this collaboration and possibilities for cooperation between universities from Europe and from Sri Lanka. And as you can see, the Erasmus Plus program is for the period, the next period is 21-27, but this is not going to stop here. More than 30 years, this program is created and it's sustainable at European level, but also I'm quite sure that it's going to be at least 30 or 40 years, maybe more sustainable, because it's the most improvement program in Europe. And this is also according to every analysis that was conducted from the European Commission and from the colleagues from General Directorate for Education culture, youth, and sport from Brussels. And that's why this budget, as you can see, that the total budget for period 21-27 is 26.2 billion euros for this program. And most of the budget, it's reallocated for higher education, 43% of the total budget. That means that this program and the accent of this program have been put on higher education, indeed. There are basic and specific priorities that you need to be aware about this program when you would like to be involved in the Erasmus Plus program, also about national priorities and centralized and decentralized actions. It means about centralized and decentralized action. This is the first step, that as a higher education institution, you can apply for centralized actions directly in Brussels, and also you can be partner for with higher education institutions and also with other institutions from Europe for decentralized actions. And you can apply, you can be part of the application process at decentralized level at national agencies. And we have in Europe 34 national agencies that are created per each state. There are 28 program countries, 27 European Union program countries, and the rest one are North Macedonia, also inclusion. Also, we have included in this program Norway, EFTA countries like Turkey, also Serbia. These are program countries in this Erasmus Plus program, which means that your collaboration can be with universities outside of borders in Europe, and also mainly collaboration with European universities. This is the main picture with program and partner countries. As you can see, with the black ones are member states and associated third countries, which are 34 European countries, which are program countries in this Erasmus Plus program. And partner countries, non-associated third countries, which is Sri Lanka. So you can be involved, as I mentioned at the beginning of this presentation, also in the Erasmus Plus program, more or less like the program countries, like the European countries. Your involvement can be in the centralized actions, like capacity building, Jean Monnet, Erasmus Mundus Joint Master, Knowledge Alliance, etc. And also on decentralized level in partnerships for collaboration, small skills partnerships, also in vocational educational training, in adult education, and etc. This is the second step of your involvement. If you want to be, as a higher education institution, involved in this Erasmus Plus program, there are certain steps that you need to be, these steps need to be concluded by your side. First of all, it's about creating a registration of your higher education institution in the organization registration facility. This is, the name of this is ORS, which is it means that as higher education institution, you are going to write all the details for this higher education institution in this platform. You're going to upload the necessary documents. And after that, you are going to receive this OID number, as you can see, receiving OID number. This is the second step, I would say. First step is about the basics of the Erasmus Plus, and the second one is about creating this number. And when we are going to organize this training, I hope so, in Sri Lanka in the upcoming period, we will go in details about creating this account, because this is the basic and the second step for involvement of the universities in the Erasmus Plus program. And also, you are going to need to upload the necessary documentation at this organization registration facility. The second one, it's about signing. This is the new platform from the European Commission that was developed, and it's going to be online with signing of the grant agreements between universities. This is online agreements. First one is about online agreements for collaboration between universities from Sri Lanka and from Europe. And the second one is about signing online grant agreements. And also at this training that is going to happen in Sri Lanka in the upcoming period, we are going to be to put focus on these tools, as you can see. So involvement in the Erasmus Plus needs upgrading of your competences in these tools, and we are going to work in these tools at the training in Sri Lanka. It means that first you are creating OID number, you are signing bilateral and interinstitutional online agreements with universities, and next one it's about uh, fulfilling data in these tools, which are mandatory and obliged by the European Commission. It's about Mobility Tool Plus, it's about Secunda Plus platform, which is developed and separated in two phases, like project management model and multilingual model. All of this means, yes, there are a lot of informations, but when we will organize the training, we will go step by step, and also we will go in details, and we are going to elaborate all of these platforms. This is the first one regarding this presentation, and the second one is about priorities. There are a lot of priorities in the Erasmus Plus program, but you need to be aware as a higher education institution, as a representative from higher education institutions, about the basic priorities of the Erasmus Plus program, important characteristics of the Erasmus Plus program, and also specific priorities per field. Every time when we will have collaboration with universities in the field of Erasmus Plus, capacity building, for example, in higher education, or Jean Monnet activities, modules, chairs, or centers of excellence, or Erasmus Mundus joint master, or creating a together master program. You need to be aware about these specific priorities. For example, priorities of the Erasmus Plus program are inclusion and diversity, digital transformations, participation in democratic life, sustainability, environmental and climate goals. This is one of the main goals of the Erasmus Plus program that is related with environment and climate goals. The second one important characteristics of the Erasmus Plus program is about protection, health, and safety of participants. Multilingualism is high rated from the European Commission, representatives from General Directorate for Education, Culture, Youth and Sports from Brussels. International dimension. That's why Erasmus Plus is international program, not only for universities from Europe, but also for universities from Sri Lanka, concretely. Recognition and validations of skills and qualifications. As you can see, we have now mentioned 8 or 9 priorities, but each field, each specific sub-action has plus specific priorities. About opportunities regarding universities from Sri Lanka, you can see at this slide of the presentation. It's about Erasmus Mundus Joint Master. You can create together master studies with physical presence, with online master studies, or combined online and with physical present master studies, or you can prepare these master studies. This is the second option about Erasmus Mundus design measures. And at the training in Sri Lanka, we will go in details with the application, with the deadlines, with administrative things that need to be uploaded and attached to the application form, with the relevance of the project design, with the impact of the project design, with dissemination and everything. So it means that at this training that is going to happen, I hope next month, we will go in details and we are going to fulfill this kind of applications with the basics of the applications in each field. About Jean Monnet activities, these universities from Sri Lanka, they can be part of modules, chairs, and centers of excellence. So just an example, you can create together with universities from Europe modules for education. These are the basics. For international credit mobility, yesterday I have attended the meeting with the colleagues from national agencies from Europe and from European Commission, concretely for international credit mobility. And I would say that for this specific sub-action, there are more than 2 billion euros for the next call for academic 22-23. So bearing in mind that a lot of budget is allocated also for international create mobility sub action. It means that you can create partnerships or collaboration just to sign agreement between universities from Sri Lanka and from Europe, and you can apply for this international create mobility regarding mobilities between Sri Lankan universities and also universities from Europe. And you can create student mobilities. You can be involved in staff teaching assignment, staff teaching for training, student traineeships, and blended intensive courses, which is the new novelty from the Erasmus Plus program. But for all of these activities, we'll go in details. As you can see, for each sub-action, like Erasmus Mundus Joint Master, for each action, like Erasmus Mundus Joint Master, Jean Monnet, international create mobility, capacity building for higher education, partnerships for cooperation. There are action and sub-action. So at this slide, as you can see, there are more than 10 or 15 possibilities for applications and for collaboration between Sri Lankan universities and European universities. And the budget from period to the 2014 and 2020, it was for this program 14.7 billion euros, and now at least it's almost doubled, as you have seen in the first slide. We have available budget for the period 21-27 at European level, but also including higher education institutions all around the world, including the universities from Sri Lanka, 26.2 billion euros. These are calls for the next year. So as you can see, for the next year, European Commission and national agencies are going to publish call for each of these actions, like for international create mobility, Erasmus Mundus joint master degree, capacity building in higher education, vocational training, youth and sport. Bearing in mind that as a university, you can apply also for vocational training, for youth and for sport. So there are possibilities not only in the higher education field, there are possibilities in the program also in other areas like adult education, youth, vocational training, and sport, including in sport. Jean Monnet activities like modules, chairs, and centers of excellence, Erasmus plus virtual exchanges. So you can apply also for virtual exchanges and to be granted for this. Partnerships in higher education and individual mobilities. So for each of these actions, European Commission is going to publish call for applying also for Sri Lankan universities. Regarding Erasmus Mundus Joint Masters, this is the next one of the actions of the Erasmus Plus. As you can see, we are going now in details a little bit with the budgets. So it's about scholarships. Holders, it's approximately 1,400 euros per month for scholarships. And total amount per student can be maximum of 33,600 euros. Minimum 1 academic year and maximum 24 months. Institutional support, if you want to be involved in the Erasmus Mundus Joint Master, you are going to receive for at least 24 months, 750 euros for your higher education institution. And also special needs, if there is needs for this kind of needs, up to 60,000 euros. And maximum amount per project for Erasmus Mundus Joint Master is 1,800,000 euros. Erasmus Mundus Joint Master, this is about excellent integrated master course offered by consortia of 3 full partners from 3 different countries, of which at least 2 must be EU member states. So at least 2 higher education institutions from Europe and at least 1 or 2 or 3 higher education institutions from Sri Lanka or more, they can apply together for this kind of master studies, attract the best students worldwide through European Union funded scholarships. Duration is about 6 academic years, covering at least 4 editions of the master program, 1 to 2 academic year For reason that in Europe we have for master studies for 1 or 2 years for master studies, depends of the policy of the university. And institutions from all over the world may submit the proposals on behalf of an international consortium. So this is the main thing regarding Erasmus Mundus Joint Master. So you as a representative of higher education institution from Sri Lanka can apply, you can apply for a master program. And also, if you are not quite sure about applying for the master program, you can apply also for preparatory measures of Erasmus Mundus Joint Master Program. This is the second one, as I mentioned. It's about new sub-action supporting the design of high-level study programs as master level. So this is about preparing your master programs, not necessarily create this program, but only preparatory measures for this program. Erasmus Mundus design measure projects involve at least 3 full partner higher education institutions, of which at least 2 must be you. Institutions at the end, you can read that institutions from all over the world, including Sri Lankan universities, can submit a proposals of behalf on an international consortium. So you can apply directly as a consortia for Erasmus Mundus joint masters and design measures. These are the next possibilities for the Erasmus Mundus, for the Erasmus Plus program, which is about projects, chairs, networks, modules, centers of excellence regarding Jean Monnet activities. We have 3 kinds of activities in the Jean Monnet program, which is about modules, chairs, and centers of excellence. And the coming soon, the next call is going to involve policy debate with the academic worlds about networking and creating of projects. So at least in the Jean Monnet activities, Sri Lankan universities have possibilities in 5 sub-actions as like modules, chairs, centers of excellence, networks, and projects. This is about the next possibility for Sri Lankan universities. It's about international creative mobility. You can collaborate with universities from Europe about staff teaching assignments, about student mobilities, about student placements, traineeships, and staff teaching assignments. And also the new one, it's about blended intensive courses, which is incorporated in 2 separate steps with virtual component and physical presence for students. But basically, at international create mobility, Sri Lankan universities have possibilities in 5 activities. As I mentioned, staff teaching assignment, you can teach at universities in Europe. Also, you can receive staff and students from Europe regarding staff teaching assignments, student mobilities, student placements, traineeships, staff trainings for administrative staff, and blended intensive courses. So in this action, 5 possibilities are in front of Sri Lankan universities, and it involves also all 3 cycles of studies: bachelor study, master, and PhD level. Grants to cover travel and living costs. So you're going to receive 2 types of costs regarding activities: travel for the distance band, and also individual support, which is 180 euros per day. And higher education institutions from EU member states and associated 3rd countries may apply to their national agency. So you can apply together with universities from Europe, and you can create this kind of collaboration in international creative mobility action of the Erasmus Plus. Capacity building. I think that this is one of the main actions on centralized level in Brussels, which means that most of the budget is also reallocated for capacity building in higher education. As you can see, there is going to be a call next year for capacity building, but also you can be involved not only in higher education, in capacity building in higher education. Regarding rules and regulations of the Erasmus Plus program, higher education institutions from Sri Lanka can apply and can be a part of capacity building also in vocational educational training and also in adult. Bearing in mind also about these informations. These partnerships are between universities, mainly from Sri Lanka and from Europe. It's about 2 or 3 years of partnerships of higher education institutions. It's about 3 types of project costs, about fostering access to cooperation in higher education institutions, smaller scope. These are small projects. We are calling this small project. Besides the budget is that is between 200,000 and 400,000 euros, but these are called smaller scope project focused of universities. Priorities of newcomers. And the budget is that can be granted for this kind of activity for capacity building is about 200,000 between 200,000 euros and 400,000 euros. Partnerships for innovation. It's about larger scale projects focused on innovation, university, business, and governance. And as you can see, the allowance of the budget is between the minimum is 400,000 euros and the maximum budget is 800,000 euros. And the third one is about structural reform projects focused on macro level and require environment of ministries. I have participated of dissemination of project of capacity building. It was before 4 or 5 years. Just an example, for reason that when I'm working in my field, always I'm watching some examples, which is best practice, which is very important in this Erasmus Plus program. So I have attended it, dissemination of the results of the capacity building project. And the lead applicant, it was one university from Austria, and they have involved 9 other partner universities from Europe and from all around the world. And they had also one university that it was from Sri Lanka. And at this event, the total budget of this capacity building project, it was 900,000 and 100,000 euros. And this budget is with separate, I would say, envelopes and budget for each university regarding activities that are necessary to be conducted by partner and program universities. So be aware that you can be also applicant, but from the other hand, you can be also partner at this kind of projects for capacity building. You can be both. You can be as a lead as an applicant in the capacity building, but also for with another application, you can be partner in capacity building. Also in other actions. Be aware about possibilities that are in front of higher education institutions from Sri Lanka, for reason that you can be leader in the Erasmus Plus for some project, but also for some projects you can be partner. As you can see, for international credit mobility, here are possibilities for Sri Lankan universities for applying. For international credit mobility, for mobilities between program and partner countries, you can be partner. But also your OID number and PIC number must be written in the applications from the European universities regarding collaboration. For the Erasmus Mundus Joint Master and Erasmus Mundus Joint Master Design measures, you can be applicant as a higher education institution as a representative from Sri Lanka. For capacity building in higher education and also for vocational educational training and for youth, you can be applicant for a reason that Sri Lankan universities are from the eligible regions regarding Erasmus Plus program. And for the Jean Monnet activities, you can be also applicant for the activities for the Jean Monnet modules, chairs, and centers of excellence. So at least from these calls for the next year that are going to be published from the national agencies and from the European Commission, at the training we will go in details with the calls, with the deadlines, with the technicalities of the applications, with the evaluation of the applications, with every detail that is going to be necessary for you as a representative from Sri Lanka to be in line with the European regulations and rules regarding Erasmus Plus program. This is very much important for reason that through evaluation process and through eligibility of the applications, a lot of applications are not non-eligible or with some mistakes or some mistakes in the technicalities when they're applying. So be aware that this is the most important thing regarding technicalities of the Erasmus Plus program, about priorities and about details regarding each action and sub action of the Erasmus Plus program. For the next year, we will have approximately at the end of the May call for Erasmus Mundus Joint Master. This is the right time for participating at training for Erasmus Plus, for reason that we are in front of the new year of 2022, and next calls are going to be, as you can see, for international credit mobility and for capacity building. They're going to be in February or maybe in March. And for Erasmus Mundus Joint Master Jean Monnet activities in May or June. So this is the perfect time for starting of collaboration and creating this kind of project proposals for the Erasmus Plus program. At the training, we are going to discuss and we will go in details regarding online linguistic support, which is very important tool from the European that is developed by the European Commission and representatives, IT colleagues from the European Commission, online registration service like ECAS, creating an account for the Erasmus Plus, online platforms like Secunda Plus, project management module, and multilingual module. So these are, I would say, the basics for involvement in the Erasmus Plus program. And at the training, at the plane training for the next months, we will go in details with all of these platforms, for reason that digitalization and environment, the green agenda are high on the agenda of the European Commission. That's why the new Erasmus Plus program is called also Erasmus without paper. That's why you need to be aware about all of these platforms, which are not very much complicated, but you need experienced professional, I would say, that is going to explain this one in details. Fulfilling of the applications, we will fulfill these applications for capacity building draft applications, and we are going to fulfill for reason that there are a lot of fields that need to be fulfilled regarding applications for capacity building in higher education, Erasmus Mundus Joint Master, Jean Monnet, Knowledge Alliance, partnerships for cooperation, small skills partnerships, international credit mobility. So we have at the last slide of today's presentation, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 possibilities for Erasmus Plus for Sri Lankan universities. But bearing in mind that in capacity building, Sri Lankan universities have possibilities not only in higher education, but also in vocational educational training, in adult education, and also in youth. Erasmus Mundus Joint Master, you have possibilities also regarding creating joint masters with universities from Europe and also with the preparatory measures. For Knowledge Alliance, you have also two types of activities, collaboration with higher education institutions from program countries and also involving higher education institutions from partner countries and creating together alliance in higher education. Partnerships for cooperation, we have regular partnerships and we have small skills partnerships. And for international credit mobility, you have also 5 possibilities like student mobilities for studies, staff teaching assignments, staff training, student traineeships, and blended intensive courses. This was the last slide of today's presentation. I'm quite sure that the basics are fulfilled of the Erasmus Plus program with today's presentation. We have fulfilled all the areas which are very much important for universities from Sri Lanka regarding involvement of universities and higher education institutions from Sri Lanka. And I'm quite sure that the planned training for the next month, we are going to, we'll go in details, and we are going to work on the application forms. We are going to work in details with the impact of the application, dissemination, relevance of the project, strategy, etc. So be aware that at this training for the next month, we will go with first one, registration of the universities, technicalities with the registration, with the online platforms which are created from the European Commission, and also fulfilling applications. So three main steps which are going to be very much important if you want to be involved in the Erasmus Plus program as a higher education institution. So do we have any questions, Dimitri, regarding today's presentation? I hope that we have...
Thank you. Yeah, we have plenty of questions actually, and I'm afraid that we are not able to address all of them. I mean, in this live mode, but I will definitely ask you to respond to some of them definitely. But in the meantime, I want to like ask everybody. So if you have more questions, or if we have not been able to respond to your question, so kindly please reach our co-hosting party in Sri Lanka. I'm posting now to this chat box all the details, information, and everything. So I definitely want to ask you one question, which came from one of the vice chancellors from the University of Vavuniya. So the question is that our university has planned to commence a new master program in project management. And the question is that, is there any possibility to commence the program as joint master study, and how and with whom this can be done?
I would like to ask you only one thing, Dimitri. Is this master program already accredited by the government and by the Ministry for Education, or they plan to accreditate this master program? Because there is a big difference.
Yeah. Good evening to you all, and it's we have planned to get that approval from our ministry and get the accreditation. We are in the process.
Okay.
We are in the process of getting the accreditation.
Okay. Basically, if you want to have joint master program with universities from Europe, at least you need to choose 2 universities from Europe which are going to be eligible from the Erasmus Plus program. Every university that would like to participate from Europe in the Erasmus Plus program, they need to have validate Erasmus Charter for Higher Education. Just one example, universities from Macedonia, from 26 higher education institutions from our country, we have 22 accredited higher education institutions with Erasmus Charter. So these are the basics. And in general, if you want to accredit this Erasmus Mundus Joint Master Program, you need to be aware about involving at least 2 higher education institutions from Europe involved together in this master program. And after that, we are going to collaborate between the universities and creating curricula and everything that is going to be mandatory from regarding also the application form. And after that, you can apply together with one application in the executive agency in Brussels for Erasmus Mundus Joint Master. But you need to be aware about the details of the program. For reason that if you're not aware that this university need to have this kind of Erasmus Charter, maybe you are going to involve some higher education institutions that is without Erasmus Charter for higher education, and your application is going to be rejected on the technical issue, on the eligibility criteria. So that's why it's very much important to be aware about all the details regarding application process for the Erasmus Plus. But yes, you can apply with for this kind of accreditation of master studies, but you need to be aware about the details.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Right, that's good. That's good. So actually, I am really sorry, but we have so many questions, which I'm very pleased to see. But since because of the time constraints, let's do one thing. So if you have registered for this event, and we have your all the details, we will respond to your questions directly by email. Okay, that would be easier now, just to save everybody's time. And I would like to give a floor. Since we have this opportunity again to Mr. Dilante Vitanage for his another word, please.
Uh, we really appreciate this very informative session by Professor Alexander and Dimitri. Of course, we had to organize this during a very short time period, and we have to thank Chairman of UGC for forwarding our mail during a very short time period to all the universities. And unfortunately, some of the participants couldn't receive the link email. So what we are planning to do, once you complete this, we will send the recording to all the universities and institutes so that they will be able to go through this. And I would like to thank Sean and the MAS group also for giving this opportunity to organize this event during a very short time period. Thank you very much. I believe that Sri Lankan universities and the higher education sector can benefit from this immensely, and we look forward to work with you seriously. Thank you.
Yeah, very good. So yeah, since Alexander mentioned a couple of times that we are really exploring opportunities for making like training session about this big topic, and this will not be able without our partners, which I also want to ask to say something about this seminar. Mr. Milroy Fernando from MAS, please take a floor for this.
Hi all, thanks Dimitri. And we found very interesting and very fruitful information from Mr. Alexandra Bogoski, because even me and Mr. Shan, my brother, and we have been dealing with students. We time to time we help the students in Europe to get these Erasmus Plus programs. So some of our students managed to get this opportunity, but what we knew was only some area of this Erasmus program, but we saw a lot of information and a lot of opportunities for our universities. So it was great to have that information. Mr. Alexander, thank you very much for bringing us this information. And also this event happened because of Mr. Dimitri and Mr. Vimashan, because in Russia they had meetings and they got this information together, and especially Mr. Dilanta Vitanage, Executive Director, National Center for Higher Education. Sir, you helped us a lot to bring these participants here. So thank you very much for all of you, and we hope we can move to the next stage, and it will be a win-win situation for everyone. Thank you.
All right. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Milroy. And again, I want to thank you, everybody who took part in this information session, and regarding what have been said by Mr. Dilante and Mr. Milroy, to our colleagues from UGC for helping us to arrange this event in such a very short period of time. And I hope that we will be able to continue this conversation. At least I see that so many questions are coming. This means that really this is very actual thing that we're discussing today, and we definitely will be planning on-ground event. Probably we really hope it will be possible very soon. So we will get back to you regarding your questions. I'm sorry that we are not able to address them now because of the time constraints, but within one day we will send out to your email all the answers. I hope that Mr. Alexander will help me with formulating the answers for our participants. So if you would like to say something in like to wrap up the session, Alexander, kindly.
Yes, thank you, Dimitri. First of all, thank you for the opportunity for sharing this kind of data and informations with universities from Sri Lanka. And this is the part of the world that need to have, according to my experience, collaboration with European universities is going to be really nice internalization between universities from Europe, including universities from Macedonia and Sri Lankan universities. And I'm quite sure that representatives from universities from Sri Lanka, they're not going to miss this kind of opportunity for reason that our focus now as a national agency and also for the Educational Export Center is Sri Lankan universities. So be aware and be aware about these opportunities of the Erasmus Plus, and also be aware about the involvedness of this training I hope that is going to happen in the upcoming period. So this training is going to be with physical presence. So we are going to present all of these details at the planned training. So thank you, Dimitri. Thank you for the participants.
Okay, thank you so much then. And I think we can now finish the session. And again, thank you so much to everybody. We have tried to keep it brief and very informative. Hope you liked it, and you will you will be able to get the best out from this opportunity. So thank you so much, and see you soon, hopefully.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.